Welcome to the Reformed Stoic Podcast. Have a seat, grab a drink. Here we discuss politics, religion, current events, philosophy, and everything else that matters. Pull up a chair, get cozy. I'm your host, Reformed Stoic. Let's get started. Okay, guys. Well, we were so close. We were so close, but the microphone's not working. We were so close, but the microphone's not working. And I don't know why. And I don't know why. I just updated OBS. I guess we'll just use this microphone today, guys. I'll figure it out next time. We're so overdue for a stream that goes well, or just a podcast that just works. I really just kind of need a podcast to, like, work, so we're just not using the microphone today. We'll just use the computer mic. It is what it is. Things are running decently. Not perfect, but we'll be all right. Yeah, we're using the computer mic. We're not using the fancy mic. So today we got a lot of a little, or a little of a lot. Classified documents from Biden's office. Teacher shot by a 6-year-old. The House is set to vote on Republican rules package. Some stuff going down in Brazil. A bunch of Brazilians are storming the presidential palace while Bolsonaro is hospitalized. We got shitty weather in California, as always. Customer shoots and kills an armed robber. And boundaries as a Christian. And then, if I may, we might wrap it all up with a little bit of Jordan B. Peterson. So we're going to get it. We're going to make it today. I'll fiddle with the microphone, and I'll figure it out next time. Hey, you know what that reminds me of? The news segment. Let's get it. You're listening to the Reformed Stoic news segment. Let's go. Let's news segment it. All right. Go ahead and turn that off. Y'all are set up over here. We're Hoodie City, baby. All right, let's start with this. So we got classified documents found at Biden's office. Man, first it was Drumpf with the secret documents. Now Biden has secret documents too. Who should I be triggered at?
Developing tonight, news about the discovery of what appear to be records from the Obama-Biden administration at an office used by Mr. Biden before he became president, some of them classified. Justice correspondent Ken Delanian joins us with the latest. Ken, what do we know?
Tonight, the White House is acknowledging that a small number of documents marked classified were found in a locked closet inside offices occupied by the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. And officials say that those offices were used by Joe Biden after he left the vice presidency, but before he became president. And they say the papers were discovered the day before the midterm election and were turned over immediately. All of this follows the discovery of roughly 300 classified documents at former President Trump's residence at Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department is considering criminal charges in that case. The White House said in the statement it is cooperating with the National Archives and the Department of Justice, and an official told NBC News that Attorney General Merrick Garland turned the matter over to the U.S. Attorney in Illinois, who was appointed by then-President Trump.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and...
Well, not that I really care about Democrat versus Republican anymore, but I did find kind of a funny way to trigger the left. Whenever people are like all fired up about Trump's tax returns, I did this with my mom like a week ago. I was like, who cares? Why would I care about Trump's tax returns? What do you mean, who cares? Like, but he's rich and he's scamming the system. It's like, so if I could scam the system, I would. I don't want to pay taxes. Good for him. Based. My president figured out how to not pay cucked taxes. Awesome. But you can't just, it's like, sweet, dude. My president doesn't pay taxes. Now I want to vote for him even more. That will trigger the left so much, dude. Just pretend like you just don't even care. I mean, I didn't have to pretend. I really don't care. I know every president seems to be kind of a scumbag, though. Anyway, classified documents being mishandled should always be criminal. Otherwise, why consider them classified? Yeah, see, everybody's all triggered about classified documents and tax returns. Just chill out. Our presidents are criminals. Based. It's like Ozark or Breaking Bad, dude. Joe Biden's like Walter Cronkite, bro. Or Walter White. He's like Walter White. Based. Justice for all or justice for none. You can't expect the American people to abide by the law if the government branches don't answer to some laws. But clearly, nobody feels the same. Like, this is how the people kind of blow off steam. The people blow off steam by just ranting in these comment sections about how they need to go to jail. They broke the law. Our Constitution was written not for this, and laws are made for a reason. Just a lot of people, like, puffing their chests out, talking about how, oh my gosh, they don't follow the law. I'm shocked to see NBC covering this story. Wow, is NBC not biased anymore? Cringe. All right, moving right along. We really got like a lot of little segments today. This is kind of the change that happened over time. We used to have like 2 main topics. We'd have like 2 news topics and then 1 Christian topic, and they'd all be kind of like longer. Every now and then, if there's something really interesting going on, we can do that. But this is just like a really general overview of what's going on, a little commentary on each topic. It works out kind of nice if like you're not really keeping up on the news that well. This can be how you keep up on the news. All right, Associated Press. Police chief, teacher shot by 6-year-old. Is a hero. The teacher's a hero, I guess. Okay. Oh, are you serious, bro? This is so ridiculously quiet. A Virginia teacher is in stable condition after being shot in her classroom by a 6-year-old student on Friday. Why would anybody ever be shot by a 6-year-old? What is this shit? What?
This is an unprecedented situation that we're dealing with. A 6-year-old. It is unprecedented. So there are some nuances here. Abigail is a 25-year-old teacher, and she is a trooper. She is a hero. Mrs. Zwerner was providing class instruction. The 6-year-old child displayed a firearm, pointed...
Man, I don't want to be disrespectful, but this has South Park written all over it, bro. Like Ike's, or Kyle's little brother Ike. I pooped my pants. He could be a school shooter. Like Ike's parents, like, Ike, we want to talk to you. Like, we're kind of worried. We heard that you're having some thoughts about shooting up your school. I pooped my pants. Like a little kid school shooter. Now we have like 6-year-old school shooters, dude.
That pointed it at her and fired 1 round. There was no physical struggle or fight. She was providing instruction to her class. She suffered a gunshot wound, but she was still able to get all of her students out of that classroom. From the video surveillance we have of the hallway, you can see the students running out of that classroom across the hall into, and I'm estimating about 17 to 20 students.
Man, this kid just straight out of the womb. It's like, they must have bought this kid Doom in like Call of Duty 3 for his baby shower, dude. They must have got this kid Doom in Call of Duty 3 and like a bunch of Mountain Dew. This kid was raised on Mountain Dew, Call of Duty, Doom. How the hell they turn this kid into a school shooter by 6?
Out of that classroom, across all into other classrooms. Mrs. Warner was the last person to leave that class. Sheriff deputies entered at 2:04, and about 8 to 10 seconds behind them, 2 officers entered. When they entered the room, they found a 6-year-old child that was being physically restrained by a school employee. The child became a little combative, actually struck the school employee that was restraining him.
Bro, a 6-year-old hitting somebody doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I don't even really feel that bad on this. This is such a ridiculous situation. Look at this cop, dude. This cop is like these big guys that I always joke about. The 6-year-old was hitting, like, are you serious, bro? Like, you don't look like you worried to get hit by a 6-year-old, bro. It doesn't matter when a 6-year-old hits somebody. It's like, go to your room. Did you just hit me? Go to your room. You don't get to play with your Teletubbies toys. Like, this country's fucking insane at this point. Excuse my language, but I just feel like that's where we're at.
And officers then took control of him and escorted him out of the building, placed him in a police car with an officer inside and outside that vehicle.
We restrained the child. Yeah, you like lifted him up with one hand, like by his shirt collar. He struck somebody. It's like, yeah, like a little baby. I don't know, dude. However that kid got a gun, that's messed up. Somebody dropped the ball by that kid having a gun. It's like Ricky Bobby, dude. That's like Ricky Bobby's origin stories. I got a gun in my crib. 2 different incidents occurred in 2018, 2019 involving an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old being arrested for defiant behavior. The officers were ostracized and severed from the force for arresting these children. In one case, the family blamed sleep apnea for the defiant behavior. What is the opinion now? Man, these are some crazy times, bro. Some of you soft boys out there, some of you guys who are like deep in this black pill cope and you're like really emotional, you're gonna get robbed by a 6-year-old, dude. Some 6-year-old with like a 24-year-old hot girlfriend is gonna roll up and be like, hey, little bitch boy, give me your shoes. You're gonna get robbed by a 6-year-old, dude. You guys gotta harden up. You guys gotta harden up, bro. There's a lot of 6-year-olds out there with bad intentions. Laser Pig, you're doing that thing that people are doing where they just kind of randomly blurt out some anti-Christian shit after you've kind of blended in for a really long time. I'm not really crazy about that. Watch your mouth, Laser Pig. I'm gonna laser your pig and I'm gonna have some fucking laser fried bacon is what I'm gonna do. House set to vote on Republican rules package. Let's vote it.
And the new GOP-led U.S. House of Representatives is facing its first hurdle, agreeing on and voting for a package of rules that will shape how they govern. In the rules package, a group of House Freedom Caucus members have negotiated their way into more powerful committee seats in exchange for their support of new House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Their deal also provides the ability to vote on the Speaker's removal with just one member.
I support it. But what I don't support is a small number of people trying to get a deal done or deals done for themselves in private. I am on the fence right now.
Well, our general concern is that the dysfunction that was historic that we saw this week is not at an end, it's just the beginning.
Republicans are also expected to push for spending cuts, which could include defense spending, more time to review bills before voting on them, and more investigative subcommittees. All Democrats are expected to vote against the rules package. Republicans need 218 of their 222 votes for it to pass.
Let's vote it. No, I saw Laser Pig just out of the blue just said that Jesus wasn't real. Or no, you were saying some shit. Both of you guys were saying something. One of you guys said something about Mary. I think you're the one who said something about Mary, though. It's whatever, dude. I remember that you talked some shit. At the very last second when the stream was ending. Very last second when the stream was ending. Anyway, at this point, there's a bunch of people who do that. And, I don't know, just stop it. Like, you're allowed to be here if you're an atheist, but just be nice to Jesus, bro. Congressmen used to duel if someone was disrespectful because they wholeheartedly wanted to affect change. These days, it's a laughing matter. What a disgrace. Rules for them, laws for us, less and less freedom for the citizens of the United States. Defund politicians and government. I see a pattern. People in the comments just always beating their chests. This is how people feel like they have power, dude. A lot of people just in the grind, probably like not having the best time, they go in these comment sections like, yeah, they should all go to jail, defund politics, rules for them, laws for us. Anyway, thousands in Brazil storm country's presidential palace.
Well, days after the 2-year anniversary of the deadly January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, a very similar scene played out in Brazil. Police say they have taken control now of the country's presidential palace and National Congress and Supreme Court after thousands of supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro invaded those buildings on Sunday. Those supporters demanding that Bolsonaro, who lost his re-election bid in October, be reinstated as president. This has a lot of shades of what we saw here on January 6th of 2021. So far there in Brazil, at least 400 people have been arrested.
Dude, I'm so tired of hearing people virtue signal about January 6th. And I don't support what happened on January 6th, but the emotional 2-year reunion, it's like, bro, it was a bunch of, like, LARPers just doing nothing, man. Like, yeah, they got into the Capitol building, but some of these Antifa riots that happened, people actually died. Like, Antifa burnt down some buildings. I remember watching live, bro. I remember watching live, and, like, some business owner comes out trying to protect his business when they're looting it. And they just kill him, dude. They just, like, beat him to death. So, a lot of, like, random shit that Antifa did was worse than January 6th. I'm just tired of hearing about it, dude. It's been 2 years. Oh, my gosh, 2 years ago, like, a bunch of LARPers just walked in the Capitol building and basically did nothing. Like, yeah, it was bad. Everybody got in trouble. It was an insurrection to our democracy. Like, yeah, okay. It was a nothing burger. It happened in Sri Lanka too. Media and American politicians. This is what an actual insurrection looks like. Yeah! This is what an actual insurrection looks like. That's what somebody just said here. Thousands in Brazil storm country's presidential palace. Yeah, see, that's like a real insurrection. Brazil is the kind of place where that shit happens. In the United States, they overinflate some event where really, like, the feds... I mean, the feds are basically the reason people went in the Capitol, dude. They wanted people in the Capitol. In the United States, it's always some false flag that's, like, overinflated. And in Brazil, people actually, like, run up on the Capitol. For real. Okay. We got lots of stuff to get through today. Developing. Bolsonaro hospitalized in Florida as political unrest continues in Brazil. Yeah, so I took an interest on this Brazil stuff. Let's get a little bit more on it.
In Brazil, authorities promised to restore order after huge protests in support of ex-president Jair Bolsonaro. Thousands of people yesterday stormed the country's Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential palace.
As his supporters protest, Bolsonaro is in Florida. This is video of his vacation home in Kissimmee, where he arrived yesterday. Some supporters have shown up to the gated community, but the Associated Press reports Bolsonaro is reportedly hospitalized with abdominal pain at a nearby hospital. And Brazilian officials have described the attacks as terrorism and a coup.
CBS 4's Naja Sherman-Jones with more on the uprising. And Naja, some are comparing this to the January 6th riot 2 years ago here at the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, Jim and Lauren, they certainly are, and it does remind a lot of people of that. The U.S. Secretary of State tweeted that he condemns the attack in Brazil, saying use of any violence to attack democratic institutions is always unacceptable.
Brazilian police on horseback surrounded a camp in the nation's capital Monday, set up by hardline supporters of former President Jair.
Whoa. That guy from the Capitol footage where he's like, we gotta go inside the Capitol, and everybody immediately started calling him a Fed. That's pretty much where my impression of Feds, like, comes from. Anytime I'm, like, joking about Feds and the CIA, the way they talk, I'm like, what about the camo dudes? What about the It's all based off of that guy, dude. That guy came off so sketchy. And he looks like he's, like, like pretty big and athletic for an older guy. He just doesn't look like a regular boomer. That guy was sketchy as fuck.
Bolsonaro as military began dismantling the protesters' tents. It comes a day after backers of the far-right leader stormed the Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential palace. Rioters echoed baseless claims that the election was stolen. The buildings targeted were mostly empty at the time, but a day later, Brazil's new president, Lula da Silva, held his first cabinet meeting inside the damaged presidential palace.
We are confident that the strength of Brazilian institutions will allow us to overcome these violent and lamentable incidents of yesterday.
Members of Bolsonaro's team met with advisors to former President Donald Trump in recent months, and Sunday's riots echoed what happened in the U.S. Capitol 2 years ago. Political analysts say there are questions about the slow response of Brazil's police and military.
A lot suggests that given the pro-Bolsonaro sentiment and anti-democratic sentiment in the armed forces and the police, that the security apparatus may have actually helped the protesters to attack the building yesterday in the Capitol.
Some U.S. Democratic lawmakers are calling for Bolsonaro to be sent back to Brazil. The White House says it has not received any official request from the Brazilian government.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters today that if the White House received a request regarding Bolsonaro, the Biden administration would take it seriously.
Let's go. All right. Well, it's popping off in Brazil. I mean, I don't know that much about it. That might be a nothing burger too, but probably less of a nothing burger than what happened here. Find it weird that he doesn't want to live in the nation he claims to pride. He went to the hospital with abdominal pain. Experts say that the cause of his pain is that he's been scared poopless at the prospect that he might be held responsible for instigating an insurrection. Oh, so they're saying he instigated it, huh? Wonder if he's going to use the hospital excuse to say he couldn't speak up. It is odd that he left the country, though. Brazil, however, is a crazy place. Commies and gangs stole the election in Brazil, and the people there didn't have it. And they're making it sound like maybe Bolsonaro is kind of like with the insurrection a little bit. I remember him being talked about as like a right-wing dude. But now this person says, a true captain never abandons the ship. Rats always do. Good luck, Brazil. Not my problem. Let's go. Speaking of not my problem, California. No. I feel like the last two podcasts, we also covered California having terrible weather stuff. Basically, for like the last decade, it just seems like California is getting slammed. The far left environment people were wrong about California drowning from global warming, but it sure is getting jacked up. ABC 7, here we go. Severe weather leaves CA neighborhood underwater. America! F yeah! Alright, no audio for this clip. Just look at it! Look at the wreckage! Come on, California. We can do better than this. It's a giant swamp, bro. It looks like Shrek's backyard. What you doing in my swamp? You know, believe it or not, I have heard positive things about California. Like a long time ago, my first roommate in Boston was like, bro, Cali buds, bro. You got the beach. You got the woods. Cali buds, man. Just chilling in Cali, bro. Come on, Cali. Let's get it together. I'm going back to Cali. Yo, I was listening to Doomsday earlier when I was working out. I did 80 burpees today for my workout. Wanted to do 100. Your boy's a little bit heavy from the holidays. We're gonna figure it out. We'll get there. Haven't even seen what is historically possible in California's Central Valley. This is very minor flooding. This comment, for some reason, I think this is funny. It's like, we haven't even seen what is historically possible in California's Central Valley. It's like, I just said that California has just been eating shit for like the last decade. And this guy's like, it hasn't even begun. Just wait, California. You've seen nothing. So basically, this sounds like California is just going to keep getting wrecked, like, forever. Native American oral tradition identifies the whole Central Valley being a huge inland lake when the rains come. So basically, California is just getting thwopped by nature. Just a natural cycle taking place. Atheists be like, if God's real, then why doesn't he, like, do something about atheists? It's like, bro, he seems to have just turned California into his punching bag. He's just turned California into his punching bag, bro. All right. Let's get it. Customer shoots and kills armed robber in Houston taco shop. Let's go. All right, Hamilton. That's like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High when he gets him with the coffee. Let's go.
Frightening moments inside a Southwest Houston taco shop Thursday night. A masked man who police believe was in his 20s, dressed in all black, pointing a gun and demanding money from the more than half-dozen patrons inside the Ranchito Taqueria number 4. Then, a heroic attempt to stop him. A customer steps in, pulling out a gun of his own and opening fire, shooting the suspect multiple times.
Let's go!
The alleged robber stumbling to the door and collapsing. Police say he died at the scene. The shooter then retrieves the stolen cash and returns it to patrons before appearing to make a startling discovery. The gun the suspect used was a fake. Surveillance camera footage shows the man outside.
Oh, he had a fake gun. Yeah, he's pissed off because he just lit that guy up, dude. You're all good, homie. You did the right thing.
The search for the man sitting here at table 4 is now over. Police say his attorney...
It's over!
...has reached out. Meanwhile, authorities are still asking customers with any information about the shooting to come forward.
In order to conduct a complete investigation, police are going to want to talk to the shooter, even if they have no plans to charge him.
The question now, will the customer's good deeds result in criminal charges? Police say after speaking with the shooter, the district attorney will decide.
Should we expect to see charges in this case?
It's highly unlikely you're going to see charges against this shooter. He was arguably the victim of a robbery.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't pick a taco shop, dude. I feel like a taco shop, just, you know, respectfully, there's some Latino dudes out there who are packing.
Sanders' intervention leading to deadly consequences. Priscilla Thompson, NBC News, Houston.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
All right. Man, just now as I'm thinking about taking your request, you say there's a fight at a Waffle House. Let's try to get through this other segments first. Maybe that can be like the bonus end clip. I'm just a little bit nervous with the CPU. I just want to make sure I get through what we got. We just hit a rough patch as soon as I was just thinking about adding stuff, so let's just try to get through the scheduled programming first. We got boundaries for non-Christian friendships. Let's go.
Pastor John, what balance or boundaries should we have regarding our friendships with non-Christians? we have to find the line between ignoring two seemingly opposite commands. One is do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Or your boasting is not good. Do you not know a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Paul is talking about tolerating people in the church that you should excommunicate. Now, on the other side, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 13. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, stands not in the way of sinners, sits not in the seats of scoffers. So you got all these commands and wisdom.
Yeah, I'll just throw out there that the Bible seems to be saying with that you shouldn't try to blend in with a bunch of atheists all the time. If you're thinking about your life, and like sometimes I've said that you should try to like conceal your power level and blend in with lots of normies. If you take that too far, you're going against what the Bible says. It basically says to stay away.
Some proverbs on the one side that say, watch out. Hanging out with corrupt people can lead to your corruption. Now, on the other side, of course, you got Jesus, who not only ate with tax collectors and sinners, but he was called the friend of tax collectors and sinners because that's, in fact, what he did so often. And you got Paul saying, if you take me as me, when I say don't hang out or separate yourself from sexually immoral people, if you think I mean the world, then that won't work, because then you'd have to go out of the world. 1 Corinthians 5:9. He doesn't mean don't associate with greedy, swindlers, idolaters, since then you would need to go out.
Swindlers! Sorry.
Of the world, he says in 1 Corinthians 5:9. So Paul is with Jesus in saying, no, you're going to be thrown together with these people. You should take opportunities. You should become all things to all people in a biblical way. So we've got these two sets of admonitions, and we have to discern which ones apply when. And I would say, ask these two questions. Which way is the transforming influence flowing? When you're with someone, are they being transformed? Are you being transformed? Are you being drawn to minimize the value of holiness? Are your standards being compromised? Are you being made callous and hard towards things in movies, say, or on television, or in language that you weren't once hard to but sensitive to? So that's the first question. And the second question is, are we loving these people for their sake? That is, that they would come to faith and they would become godly? Or do we really love them because we love what they enjoy and really just like being with them in their worldliness? I think a lot of people justify hanging out with worldly people because they are worldly Christians, and they feel at home with those worldly Christians, and the things they laugh at, they don't regard as offensive. The things they watch in movies, they don't regard as a problem. The language they use, they don't think it's a big deal. The way they spend their time, that's the way they'd like to spend their time, which really shows that they're not loving these people with a Christ-like love that's ready to die, to change their behavior and change their patterns. They're just conforming to them and calling it love. So those are the two questions that I think help us navigate between bad company corrupts good morals on the one hand, and Jesus eating with tax collectors and sinners on the other hand.
Thank you, Pastor John, and thank you for listening to this podcast. Please email your questions to...
Yo, we've listened to this channel a lot, Desiring God. Whenever I'm trying to come up with the Christian segment, I just search like Christians and this, Christians and that, Christians and boundaries, Christians and atheists. This channel usually always pops up, Desiring God. And I'm just saying, like, of all the stuff we've listened to him from so far, the stuff we've heard from this guy so far, this was like short, concise, dense, one of the best videos we've watched. from this guy. Very short, concise, to the point, dense, good shit. Good stuff. Very helpful conversation. I've pondered this over the years. It's led to me drawing stricter boundaries with some people than others. If I have to downplay my Christian life and convictions for us to hang out, then that's definitely a problem. Real. So, I wanted to get another perspective from our little buddy, Jordan Peterson, with Chris Williamson. How to deal with losing friends as you grow. So we've got the Christian perspective. Let's see where Jordan Peterson's coming from here.
If you feel like you're built for more, if you want to grow, if you want to improve, if you want to become a better human, but you don't have people around you that also want to, you're scared that you're going to lose friends. You're scared that you're going to be alone as you start to go out on a journey of self-improvement. How can people find the courage to do that?
Well, one thing they can do is contemplate the consequences of not doing it. You lose friends. Well, you're going to lose the friends who don't want the best for you. Those are the friends you want in 10 years? I mean, you lose friends. Well, maybe you gain new friends. Maybe you gain better friends. Or maybe, miracle of miracles, your friends pick up their mess too and move forward. Maybe not. And I'm not naively optimistic about such things, but you have to contemplate the price you pay for inaction. And this is something I did with my clients all the time. It's like, well, I don't want to change jobs. Well, no wonder. It's like you have to go put yourself out to be interviewed. You have to send out 500 resumes. You have to be rejected 499 times. You have to polish your interview skills. You have to update your CV, which means you have...
See, where I'm starting to kind of feel lately, guys, is that the angle that Jordan's coming at this from already, he's already talking about interviews and your resume. That stuff is worldly. And this is where a lot of Christians, I think if everything's by the books and people are consistent with their faith, I think it's the Protestants who really roll their eyes at that, bro. Like, stressing out about your resume in interviews and stuff, it's worldly. Like, yeah, it's important. You want to make money and be successful. This is where Southern Israelite calls everybody a derelict. It's like, you're a derelict if you say that it's worldly, if you say that, like, interviews and success and business status is worldly. But it is. It doesn't mean that the only way to be good is to be broke and be a failure in life. But Jordan Peterson is coming at this from, like, more of a stressful angle. The Christian angle was just more, just get away from those people and don't stress out about it. And this just sounds a lot more like, get away from those people, but stress out about it because you got to work on your resume and do 1 million interviews.
To take a real look at the inadequacies in your preparation. And maybe you won't find a better job.
Wash your balls, cries. Dude, that's the best Jordan. He cries all the time now. Dude, he cries all the time, and it's so cringe every time.
It's like, no wonder you're afraid of that. Okay. You're in this job you hate, and it's 10 years from now. How does that look? Think about that. You already know you're in a little hell. You know perfectly well it's going to get worse. Which is more frightening? Action or inaction? Well, the thing about inaction is you're blind to it, eh? So you can hide from it. Well, that's chapter 3 again. Do not hide things in the fog. Do not make the assumption that inaction has no price. And so then you think, I'm terrified of this, but I'm even more terrified of that. And, you know, people have asked me, for example,
he's gonna cry.
I suppose why I was willing or am willing to
he's gonna cry.
engage in the troublesome process of objecting when I think something isn't going well.
What is this guy, dude?
Because I'm more afraid of the consequences of inappropriate silence. It's not that I'm brave. It's that I'm more terrified of the alternative.
Okay, so I see how people could... I just about got lost here. He's talking about inaction because if you keep crappy people in your life, then you're kind of being lazy. Like, that's a type of inaction. And he's comparing it to the inaction of not cleaning your room and working on your resume. And so that's where this is coming from, this inaction. You have to get on it. Clean your room. Like, cutting shitty people out of your life is like cleaning your room.
So I don't engage in the alternative. And I don't know, maybe I have a knack for that to some degree. Maybe it's a consequence of clinical training, but I can walk into people's houses and look around and I think, okay, there's something up here. And I mean, people have that ability. I walked into a house once and the dishwasher was in the middle of the kitchen and it was undone and had obviously been there for a couple of weeks. And the fridge had food in it that was no longer food. And the cupboards had unopened wedding gifts in them, like 5 years after the marriage. I thought, there's a lot of things in this household that are being swept under the rug.
Clean your room, clean your household.
And that was all laid out in the practical environs. It's like they hadn't negotiated who was responsible for cleaning the fridge. They hadn't even been able
clean your fridge,
able to open their wedding gifts. It's like something's rotten, deeply so. And so,
clean your fridge.
I could see where that was headed without a tremendous amount of effort on the part of the people, and it didn't work. They were divorced, a couple of years after that in a very ugly manner for very ugly reasons. Well, I knew where that was headed. And under different...
He knew they were going to get divorced because they had a dirty fridge and unopened wedding gifts.
Circumstances, I would have said, what the hell is that box doing there? Oh, it's nothing. Yeah, no, wrong.
Basically, if you ever invite Jordan Peterson into your house, it's like, hey, bucko, can I use your bathroom? Yeah, go ahead. Just let yourself in and let yourself out. He's going to, dig through your shit and judge you. He's going to, open your fridge, be like, oh, he needs to clean his fridge. This isn't going to work out. He's going to, look through your medicine cabinet, probably try to steal some pills. If you ever let Jordan Peterson into your house, he's going to judge the shit out of you, dude.
It's not nothing. That's a little portal to hell. I can see it, and so could you if you looked, but you won't. And I mean that literally, because people won't look. They'll walk into a room like that and they will not look at that thing. Absolutely. And that's because if they look, they'd see. And they don't
look at it. Look at your room. You see that? You see those socks on the floor? Clean your room. Look at it. I want you to look at this room. Clean it.
Want to see, and no wonder, but the consequence of blindness is worse. It's worse. I mean, I have this, my family would like some peace because I seem to be embroiled in one thing after another. And, they have a point, but peace is very hard to obtain. And I can't be blind to what I see in the broader world around me. Not if I see it.
And cry.
If I see it, it's like, there it is. I'm going to say something.
You talk about heroes and how they're cold.
Who the hell is this grifter, dude? How does this guy have 642,000? Chris Williamson? Grift! Alright, maybe he's cool. I'm leeching off of his stuff on my stream, so you're cool, brah.
To do the duty that only they can because they can, not because they're willing. The person that needs to go and slay the dragon is the person who can, not the person who wants to.
Like, look,
slay the dragon, clean your room, lobsters, and cry. That's the Jordan Peterson formula. Oh, that guy just said slay the dragon, dude. That guy just said slay the dragon. Now you know Jordan Peterson's going to go for it.
Well, look, here, think about it this way. Like, some things bug you and other things don't. I mean, there's lots of things that could bother you that don't, because you're obviously not bothered by everything that you could be bothered by, right? There's lots of things in the world that aren't set right, but some of them really bug you. Maybe they make you cynical and bitter, you know? Oh God, look at how the world is constituted. It's so awful that I can't sustain my faith in the sight of that. It's like, well, you've got something to do there, guy. That's your problem. Why? Who knows?
Bucko?
I would say the reason is that it's your destiny calling to you in the form of guilt over unfulfilled obligations. You have an instinct for growth. That's not a mystical statement. It's part of being human. We don't reach the limits of our potential. We're neotenic in some sense. We're continual children, biologically speaking. And so we're always transforming and changing in some direction. What direction? Well, your conscience tells you, at least in part, this bugs you. Well, it's your problem. Now, you may have to investigate that and straighten it out, because even your formulation of what bugs you is likely to be ill-constituted. But still, that's something calling to you. And you avoid it at your peril, and everyone else's peril too. And it is, see, that's the way that your biology manifests itself in such a sophisticated manner. It's beyond you. It's like your better self is attempting to manifest itself by torturing you with a set of problems that you need to address.
Holy crap.
And then you can refuse that, but then all the meaning goes out of your life if you do that. That's not good.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's funny how the theologian guy was just like, yeah, God says to cut these people out of your life. Here it is. He was just like straight to the point, and he made good points, and he backed up everything he said with the Bible. And Jordan Peterson just went on such like a weird, borderline unhinged rant where it's like, I do see how it goes back to the subject. He's extremely intelligent. He's just so dramatic, dude. He's so dramatic, and it comes down to you're being lazy. Those people are still in your life because you're being lazy. So he's able to make it his, like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, bucko. Yeah, when that guy was like, well, you gotta slay the dragon, like, there's like this light in Jordan Peterson's eyes. If you're ever like interviewing Jordan Peterson, you have to know like the perfect things to say to just make him inspired. It's like, yeah, well, you see, I knew this guy who, he just had a really, really, really dirty room until one day, you know, he killed himself. It's like, well, the thing about a dirty room, it's like, you know, my friend was trying to slay the dragon in his life, but he just couldn't integrate his shadow, and his room was a mess, and, you know, guy loved lobsters. He had a tank of lobsters. God rest his soul. Lobsters and dragons and dirty rooms and lobster. The thing about dragons, bucko. And he cries. First thing that pops in my head, he told Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast that he couldn't sleep for a week after eating a potato. He's like, I had a potato and I couldn't sleep for a week. I was like, what? That's crazy, dude. I eat potatoes every day and I'm fine. Weirdo. Okay, Waffle House fight. We made it. Catches chair midair. Wait, that's from 11 days ago. Waffle House Wendy speaks out after viral restaurant brawl. Okay, where is the restaurant brawl? Waffle House fight breakdown. Waffle House worker deflects flying chair.
Hire these people for the WWE. It's just another night at a Waffle House, with all hell breaking loose at a Texas Waffle House after workers yelled for this group of customers to leave. But instead, one customer climbs on the counter, one worker later throwing a coffee pot at her, things are flinging, people are falling.
Wow.
It evolves into an all-out punching match. Everyone else is filming on their phones and egging it on, otherwise known as a regular night at a Waffle House. Hire these people for the WWE.
Yeah.
It's just another night at a Waffle House, with all hell breaking loose at a Texas Waffle House after workers
Yeah, something tells me I would never really end up in that Waffle House. That seems like it's in one of those neighborhoods where it's like, we're almost out of gas, Dad. Shouldn't we stop at the gas station? I think we'll be good till the next gas station, son. That was a memory from my childhood road trips. It's like, we need gas, Dad. Why don't we go to that gas station? And there's a bunch of, like, black guys in tank tops. There's a bunch of, like, black guys in tank tops, like, leaning up against the gas pumps. It's like, I think we'll be good till the next gas station, son. Why don't we wait till we get to a little bit more of a friendly area? Does it have something to do with the big, scary black guys, Dad? No. No, son. No. Absolutely not. No. No, 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 no. Just friendly. Just gonna go to a friendlier area. Okay, guys. Well, we made it. I think as long as I'm very, like, gentle with my laptop when I'm getting ready to stream. As long as I'm just very, you know, the time when it crapped the bed last time I streamed, I wasn't thinking I have to do, like, a certain ritual, have all the windows open before I go live and all of that. We made it. A podcast, whoosh, in the bag, baby. Slam dunk. Real podcast. We made it. We did it. God bless you, my friends. That is all for tonight. And now it's hitting me that I need to find another show to watch. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I will pick another show to start watching by the end of the night. Thanks for being here. Next podcast on Friday. Maybe Wednesday coming